Zentrix AI. The advanced AI-powered trading platform for every trader. Everything you need for trading success. Research, strategy, automation, trade signals, all in one platform. Write strategies in plain language. We build the bots. Forex, crypto, stocks, futures. Every market. Let AI do the heavy lifting. Zentrix AI. The future of trading is here. Are you ready?
Okay, what's up people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course make sure you do hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. If you haven't joined the Telegram for Zentrix yet, make sure you go do so. I'll drop the link to the Telegram. You can find more information there, updates regarding launch. We're looking to launch very, very soon. And if you are interested to test the platform, you can fill out a application which is in the Telegram. It allows you to test out the platform before we do launch. So if you are interested, go check it out. But guys, welcome back to another live stream. Hope everyone is doing well. Malik, good morning, my man. I hope you're well. So as always, we'll go through the USD side of things first. Take a look at the DXY, USD majors, gold, and silver. If you do have any requests, any pairs you do want me to take a look at, or any particular market, let me know. And of course, let me know any particular time frames. Most of the time, I'll be on 4-hour, daily, hourly chart. But if you want me to look lower time frames or even higher time frames, let me know and I will take a look. But to start things off, we will take a look at the dollar, which has been interesting this week so far. It is only Tuesday. But we have seen a bit of strength, and that's kind of what I'm looking to expect this week. I'm looking for a lot more USD strength. An interesting level, which of course we pointed out yesterday, is of course price support running through the market here, kind of lining up pretty well with this area of supply, which you've more or less about tapped into. Now, the plan this week for USD is to see what price does at this area, because personally, I'm not really interested in continuing to short the dollar anymore. I feel like we are very, very corrective right now. The market's been bearish for quite a while, and we're running out of steam a little bit. And I do have the expectation that eventually, soon enough, we'll see a pretty nice move to the upside, and there could be some nice pullback opportunities there. Now, with the mindset of a swing trade, you're always looking for the bigger move. Where could the bigger move be? And I would expect it to be to the upside. I feel like we are quite exhausted, so I'm not really looking to continue to swing dollar to the downside unless there's a very strong bearish move and there's a lot of momentum injected into the market again and things look healthy. Then sure, I will be happy to look for pullbacks, but that's not the case. So I'm being very skeptical about shorting the pair. On the contrary, on the lower time frames, I think shorts look good. I did speak about this area here yesterday. I said if you're looking for a short for a day or two, this might be a nice level to look at. Let's see how price reacts with that level. Of course, we can see price has smashed into that level. We had a bit of a gap as the new daily candle has opened, but we have seen a nice reaction. Perhaps you might have a deeper test and again see another reaction. So again, intraday, I'll still keep an eye on that. We're moving very corrective on the way up. Haven't really seen any dramatic bullish momentum just yet, indicating reversal. So if we do stay corrective, I think there's a good chance we do see a nice reaction. So lower time frame, I think shorts look good around 97.8. We'll see what price does at that area. You can see the consistent lower highs price has been forming. I think this is a smart area to look to short the market again upon some confirmations. If we do rally through this and break through, then I'll be looking for my buying opportunities. At that point, maybe somewhat of a inverse head and shoulder pattern. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and this is where I look for my buying opportunities, perhaps on a retest of that area, and then we'll see how far we can take it. But for now, we are still bearish. So intraday, I think shorts are the smart move, but again, I'm not looking for any big moves here. USD's been bearish for quite a while. We're quite oversold, quite stretched. We're looking for fatigued, very corrective right now. So because of all of those reasons, I wouldn't look for big moves for USD weakness. Same thing for Euro USD to the upside. This one's been equally as bullish as dollar has been bearish. I think Euro dollar is quite stretched at the moment, looking pretty fatigued as well. So again, I wouldn't be looking for any big moves to the upside for Euro USD, because I feel like the market is coming to not necessarily an end, but at least a temporary top. We might have a bigger pullback on the cards for a while before maybe the bigger move and the longer term trend does continue. But I do expect to see a bigger pullback at some stage. You can see prices been moving in this ascending channel for quite a while, fading at the highs there. Perhaps we might see a deeper pullback. I did point out this area as a very interesting area for Euro USD. You've got prior resistance, you've got nice area of demand, strong push to the upside. Lines up pretty well with the lower end of this channel. I think that would be a smart place to find some buys for Euro and perhaps another swing back to the high. But I wouldn't look to try and take it any further than that. Because again, I do think Euro can have that bigger retracement and hopefully some shorts off the back of that. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. But we're still a long way away from that. So not going to speak too much on the shorts. But for now, buys still look good. We still do have somewhat of a corrective bearish move on the way down, which still implies that the buyers are still overly in control of the market. So if we can come back down and test this area of confluence, I think it's a smart place for a buy. Of course, waiting for our confirmations, but a test of 1.163 looks good, and potential pushback to highs, or at least a day or two. I think we can see a nice reaction there. But we are looking quite tight, so I'm not expecting much more to the upside for Euro. Looking at the daily chart as well, I do think a bit of a dip is going to happen soon. Again, the bigger move may still be to the upside, but there might be a few days, maybe a few weeks even, of some bearish momentum coming up. In terms of pound USD, same situation as well. Again, very similar pairs, so the technical analysis is normally the same. You can see pound USD taking up major highs recently. Again, you can see how corrective we were becoming, starting to move in a bit of a channel here. I do think pound can have a bit of a relax, a bit of a relief of that trend. Again, we may still attack higher, we may still continue higher longer term, but I do think we're running out of steam and a bigger pullback is good, is likely. And judging the lower time frames, you can see in the 4-hour chart, we had a nice rally recently, left behind a bit of a consolidation, came back just about to retest that, and we've been looking pretty bearish since. So I do think on an intraday level as well, more downside is likely. I'm looking at this range located just below us. Nice range over there, strong push to the upside, a lot of momentum there. I think naturally this could be an area which price is drawn towards, and perhaps a smart area for a buy as well. Again, I'll keep it short term, not looking for anything too crazy for pound. Similar to Euro, we do have this trend line connecting the previous swing lows, 1, 2, perhaps we see a third one. Again, we do have this ascending channel behavior with pound USD as well. All these USD markets kind of operating in the same way. USD has been pretty bearish, but we're becoming quite corrective now. Momentum's starting to die out, and I do think we can turn around. So as you can see, now the channel rejected the high. It looks like we're approaching the low. Again, I think this is a smart place for a buy. Not only have you got the trend line, but you got a healthy area of demand, which price hasn't come back to retest yet. So it's still nice and fresh, and did give us a pretty big up move. So we might not see a massive continuation, but we could at least probably see a reaction, which could last a day or two, which could be more than enough to profit from, especially if you're going to really drop to the lower time frames to fine tune your entry. Could still look at a decent risk to reward. So keep an eye on 1.35 there for pound. Equally for the selling opportunities, I would want to see price break through that. Then we can speak about some shorts, but again, we'll probably dive into that maybe next week or whenever it does happen, if it does happen. Dollar CAD, I'm pretty bullish on this one. We've already had a bit of a break of this counter trend line. We've been pretty bearish on the way down here. Very corrective. We came back more or less for a double bottom here as well. Prior support from a couple of weeks back, strong reaction, more or less came back to retest that. Now we've had a sharp move to the upside. So the way I see it, we've had a strong breakout. This to me looks like price is having a bit of a breather, and I'm expecting us to find support at some area, particularly this over here. Nice resistance on the lower time frames, maybe a bit of an area of demand there as well. I think that would be a smart place for a buy, especially intraday, and perhaps we could see some longs from there. If I drop to the hourly time frame, you can see it in a bit more detail. Nice bit of structure just below us, around 1.362. And perhaps there we could be looking for some entries to take dollar CAD higher. And targets I'm looking for would be a push into this resistance at 1.37H. Keeping it relatively simple. If you look at the bigger picture where dollar CAD is trading, yes, it's still a bearish market. Overall, we have been falling for quite a while. But you can see where we're trading, big area of demand. Massive reaction to the upside after a short-lived consolidation, big push to the upside. We're back in that area again. Naturally, I do think buyers will be looking to jump into the market at this particular price. And that could give us a bit more upside there for USD. Of course, if the dollar's going to reverse as well, that should help fund USD CAD's reversal as well. So I like what I'm seeing. I like the confluences adding up here for dollar CAD in this particular region. I like the reaction we had right at the start of the week, breaking out that descending channel after forming this double bottom. So I do think more upside is likely there for dollar CAD. And in particular, I think intraday opportunities look good. Aussie dollar's a little bit awkward. We did see some downside yesterday. Didn't quite get to my my entry level, unfortunately, before we did see some downside. Looks like more or less price has rebounded off the lower end of the channel. I was looking for a little bit more upside last week to around 0.66. Basically just looking for price to retest the upper end of the channel as we did over here, So the plan was keeping it very simple. Another retest of the high, hopefully see some rejection, then short Aussie back to the low end of the channel. We did see that, but just missed that area of entry by a few pips there, unfortunately. Of course, that's going to happen from time to time in trading. The market's not perfect, you're not perfect as well. You will miss some opportunities, unfortunately, but it's part of the game. Anyway, Aussie dollar, nice push into the low end of the channel. Strong reaction. I think we had a bit of Aussie news last night because Aussie seems to be pretty strong at the moment. I still do expect Aussie to break lower. So I'm still going to keep an eye on shorts. Maybe we do push up to the up end of the channel now and I do get the shorts I'm looking for. Maybe I'm going to stay awake to that. I'm not going to write it off. So if you can push into that 0.66 area, the up end of the channel, I think that still looks like a very nice place for a short. And keeping it simple, push back into lows. I do think we can eventually break a lot lower, which is another reason why I like the shorts, because not only are we kind of operating within this range and there's a good chance price does reject the up end of the channel, if we're lucky, perhaps we do capitalize on a swing to the lower end and maybe a breakout as well. And yeah, I would expect a lot more downside if that's the case. So I like the shorts because risk reward, it could be looking very good. New Zealand dollar, same situation as Aussie. Another ascending channel. You can see a lot of these USD pairs, USD majors are just ascending, which again is another sign that they're running out of steam. It's not like we're seeing healthy bullish trends anymore. We were early in the year, but now that's not so much the case. And again, that's perfectly natural. You're going to have a healthy trend, which is going to start to tire, start to come corrective. It's going to go through a bigger pullback. Then maybe that trend does continue eventually. And that could be what we're going through with the USD pairs. But at the moment, New Zealand dollar, again, still fluctuating in this channel. Very strong reaction from the high. I believe that was last week. I only really saw the momentum this week. Again, I'm not really seeing any opportunities. Some people could say, look for a retest here to keep shorting, but I don't think it's in a very smart area to get involved. The way I see it, price is operating in this channel, and these are the areas which you want to get involved in. This dotted line represents the middle, and that's where you can get the most kind of indecisiveness, the most fluctuation, the most just awkwardness in price, because that's where you can get all the fluctuation and not going to get a clean stop loss either. So I would avoid looking for entries and opportunities in the middle. I think that's where all the noise is, and the best places are always at the highs and lows of a range or the channel, because you can get relatively safe stop losses and always maximize your risk reward as well. Entering here is always a bit of an awkward situation. So not really seeing much of an opportunity, to be honest, with New Zealand dollar. Yeah, you can either up. I just don't think it's optimal. Maybe if price does return back to the high again, that could be something we look at. But what's the odds of price doing that? Maybe slim at the moment in time, but that's kind of the best I can see right now with New Zealand dollar. In terms of gold, gold's been interesting. I did talk about some buying opportunities on the lower time frames in this area here yesterday. I say that's a smart place to look for a buy. Somewhat of an inverse head and shoulder, left head, right shoulder. There's your your inverse head and shoulder pattern. So I talked about some buys here. We did see some nice wicks there on the 4 hour. Nice shift of momentum there outside of this channel on the hourly chart. And we did see a very nice rally. I did speak about maybe targets pushing back into the high here. Haven't quite seen that. We've only come back into this level, but that would have been a smart place to book some partials, or at least remove risk, go to break even. Now, what do I expect with gold? Well, like I said with gold, I'm not really so intrigued to trade it anymore, because the way I see gold right now is that we are just kind of a big consolidation. So I'm not trying to get into the specifics with gold in terms of the price action at the moment, because it is just fluctuating and there's no consistency to price apart from that we're just kind of going up and down. So I'm not really trying to predict too much with gold. The overall uptrend is still very much alive and well. So that's predominantly the direction I want to trade in. But I don't really have an opportunity for that yet, or at least a good one anyway. I wouldn't mind if we were to push back into the lows here, maybe some buys off that support level. But yeah, intraday, nice reaction off that low. Let's see if that momentum can continue. We're starting to struggle a little bit, but I still think we can probably make a push into resistance, and then we'll go from there. Maybe price rejects that well, and we come back down. It's a very, very awkward price action. I wouldn't really be looking for a big move in gold. I said yesterday, if you do get into any entries, keep it short and sweet with gold, because we are fluctuating quite a lot, not seeing sustained momentum. So it's not like you want to hold a position, just expect the trend to continue. At the moment, gold is very sideways, so I wouldn't be looking for any big continuations just yet. Silver, kind of the same situation as well. Sharp breakout recently. Although, if we were to pull back and retest this level on the daily chart, I would be looking for a pretty big swing, because the whole idea is that we've had a sharp breakout of that, a retest, and now expecting the continuation. So I would look for the buys. But what I would stay away from for silver, which is what I mentioned yesterday as well, is silver again ranging in this area. I'll be very, very careful with opportunities. I did speak about some short-term buys in this area. Prior resistance broke through, so this could be a smart place for a buy. We did see a nice reaction, but again, nothing sustained, and that's just because momentum is very, very flat right now with silver. It's going to take some type of catalyst to break us out of this range here, and maybe some news announcement. Right now, we are very, very flat and lacking momentum. So if you are looking for opportunities, especially intraday inside this range here, my biggest advice is keep it short and sweet and not look for anything big, because we're just not seeing that momentum right now. The chances are you will see that initial reaction, and then we'll kind of just slowly move sideways or go back against you. So I'll be very, very careful with that, with gold and silver in particular. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with USD at the moment. I quite like some of the USD pairs, need some work, but I think some opportunities are approaching. Anyway, where was I? What's up, Beauty? Welcome to the stream, hope you're well. Morning to Shepard, welcome to the stream, hope you're good. You're new here, welcome to the stream. Happy to have you. Yeah, I mean, these streams, I just share my analysis, share my views, share my trades. If I am looking to take a trade, I'll break down some analysis. If I'm in a trade, I'll share that, go through the reasons why I did take the trade, and anything I'm looking to take as well. Of course, some people want to share some of their trades, what they're looking at. You can drop it in the chat. We'll discuss, see what's going on. I'll share my thoughts and opinions. Yeah, and just have a good time. And if you are enjoying the stream, guys, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It does really help out. I do really appreciate that. What's up, Roddy? Good morning. Hope you're well. Excuse me. Which pairs I'm trading now? I'm not in any positions at the moment. I've got a few pairs I'm looking at, so I'll go through my watch list shortly. In fact, I'll probably just go through the watch list first. Roddy, BTC, executing the 15. Okay. Then Euro, okay. Yeah, what's the plan with the BTC trade? You buying or selling? But I will go through BTC. Sultan, my man, what's up? Hope you're doing well. Dima, what's up, my man? Good morning. Hope you're doing good. Varun, yeah, I agree. It does look rangy. I would stay away from gold, to be honest. I think maybe intraday you might find some short-term moves, but I think keeping it short and sweet is the best thing to do. Anything kind of big swing type of opportunity, I would stay away from, or just be very cautious with gold, because we're very flat right now. Euro USD, okay, we'll take a look in the 15 as well. Splendid. Pound yen, sure, we'll take a look. Follow the trend, my man. Hope you're well. Yeah, could be. I mean, I could see that happening as well. I think gold just needs something. It needs something to get going again. Gold is still very much a bullish market, and long term is still very much up. The market hasn't changed direction. It's just sideways at the moment. Yeah, I agree. Follow the trend. What's up, Poppy? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Happy to have you on the stream. But yeah, I completely agree. Gold at the moment is still up. Trend's still up. I think fundamentally the market is still likely to continue up. But of course, in this moment in time, things are looking very, very flat. And it's probably going to need some type of catalyst to get us going. Otherwise, we might kind of just continue to move sideways, or maybe even bleed slightly to the downside as well. Maybe go find some more buys lower down. But yeah, gold needs some help right now. Same with silver. They're both looking very, very dry. Anyway, I'll go through some pairs I'm looking at first, and then we'll take a look at BTC for Roddy. We'll go through gold as well. We'll take a look at euro, pound, yen. Of course, any requests, just drop it in the chat, and we shall get to it. But keep an eye on Euro Aussie. This is one of the pairs I am interested in. I'm looking for some shorts for this guy. I've been speaking about shorts since last week. I am looking for a pretty big swing back to the downside. This to me looks like a very corrective move, and the way I see it is it's a likely pullback for us to continue falling. I'm looking at this bearish leg as being our impulse, that being our correction. We've just about tagged into the 0.618 now. I'm looking to see if we can continue pushing lower. So I'm quite liking the shorts here for Euro Aussie, but we have been pretty bullish. I have to be careful. When you are looking to short a market which is grinding higher, it's very easy just to take a lot of shorts and get stopped out. So waiting for the market to kind of shift fully, or waiting for some very strong signs before selling is crucial to keep you out of unnecessary losses. But at the moment, the market is still bullish. I like kind of how we had this move here. We had a lot of equal highs here, probably a lot of stops there. Price ran through that on Monday, and now looks like we're selling off pretty aggressively. So maybe that does continue. I might find a bit of a late entry with a stop above the high, and then look to see if I can target the lows accordingly. Something like that could interest me, but I want momentum to kind of pick up and sustain. If we do start to form a higher low, maybe price respects support here, and we start pushing back up again, I'll form my hand, stay away. Maybe the market still wants to push higher, but I am interested in some sales. I think from a swing perspective, this is definitely an opportunity to keep a close eye on. If this is just a pullback, there's a long way to go, because I'll be expecting us to at least push back into the lows here. And there are some obvious places to manage the trade as well. A lot of support there, even here as well. Those could be areas to book partials, trailer stop loss, manage the position along the way. I'm not going to just hold all the way to the lows here. I'm going to see how we move along. If things are looking good, I can be a bit more aggressive. If things are corrective or showing signs of red flags, rejection, I can secure gains at these areas. But yeah, Euro Aussie shorts, something I'm looking for, big swing opportunity. Aussie CHF, another one keeping an eye on. It's a very similar opportunity to Euro Aussie. They're both kind of relying on Aussie being strong. But again, very similar opportunity, very corrective move on the way down. The way I see it, the market just having a relatively big pullback, and I'm expecting us to continue higher. I particularly like Aussie CHF because we're coming from all-time lows, and there's an area just above us over here which I'm expecting price to come back and retest. This is an area which we consolidated and had a massive drop to the downside, so I'm expecting us to come back and revisit and test that area. And the way I see it, price is pushed up from the all-time low, likely to form a higher low to continue to the upside. So again, just waiting for a clean entry. At the moment, we're still kind of obeying the bearish structure at the moment, so I'm being patient. Maybe if you do see a strong close above that, that could be my entry trigger. But yeah, I'm still very keen to look for some buys for Aussie Swiss back to this high, and more importantly, that range over there as well. So very bullish in Euro Aussie, looking for a big swing. Keep an eye on pound NZD and pound Aussie. I was short pound Aussie earlier last week. I did end up closing that trade for a small-ish win. Momentum did shift against me, so I was like, let me just cut the trade and walk away with the profit. I am still looking to see if I can get back into the idea. Likewise for pound NZD, looking for a big sell, a big push to the downside. We are ranging at a lot at the moment, so in terms of entries, it's a bit awkward because I kind of want us to be back at resistance so I can get my stop loss above the highs here. So I'm looking for a little bit more upside, see what we do. If the rejection is good, take some shorts. If we do break to the upside, then actually we'll shift the bias completely and become bullish, and then look for a swing back to resistance up here. So if I do see price, fully clear this area with a strong breakout, I'll be happy to look for some pullbacks, a higher low, and find some buying opportunity to take it to the upside. So I can see price going both ways. I kind of lean towards the downside. I think this is the more likely move, but I could be wrong, of course. And if price does break to the upside with some meaningful momentum, I'll be more than happy to switch my bias around, look for some pullbacks, hopefully a retest of this high somewhere. And yeah, look to take it back to highs. Pound Aussie is in the exact same boat as well. This one, very sideways, strong reaction to the downside. We had some Aussie news which caused that. I like the resistance here, so if price does get there again, I'll keep an eye to see how we reject. If things look good, I may look to add an entry there. But again, long term, I do expect us to see a bit of a flush lower. I think there's a lot of open space for us to cover. I'm looking at this area in particular. If the trend is going to continue and price does break resistance to the upside, like I said, I'll be happy to find some longs and trade it back to highs. A big part of trading is being flexible, not too stubborn with your biases. Of course, you want to have expectations and educated guesses where the market's likely to go, but things can change. New information can come in, and you want to be able to adapt if necessary. And if we do see a strong break above the highs, that would lead me to kind of adapt, see if I can find a retest somewhere and get into some longs. So I quite like those pairs, the crosses there. Out of the yen pairs, I'm keeping a close eye on Euro yen longs. Again, this has been extremely bullish, so I need a pretty healthy pullback before I even consider getting to some longs, but I like what I'm seeing, I must say. It's a very, very bullish market. We've absolutely obliterated the highs here to the left. So that's a very kind of clear-cut breakout. The likelihood of us now pushing back to the high here is pretty high now. So if you can get a decent pullback, in the meantime, that will be something I'm interested in. Hop into some buys, trade it back into wherever the high is, then hopefully back into the swing high eventually. But Euro yen's a very, very smart break to the upside. I like the momentum. I like what we're seeing. This is the next obvious target for Euro yen. So that's kind of where I expect the price to push into. But at the moment, we're still very bullish. No signs of pullback yet. So this might not be opportunity until at least next week, I reckon. I know it's only Tuesday now, but I'm looking for a pullback on the 4 hour. And that could take a few days to happen. So maybe next week I could be speaking about some longs. I quite like the idea of a retest of this area. But again, that'll definitely take a few days for us to get there. But I'll keep an eye on it. It might not be that area specifically I buy from. Maybe it's a little bit high. Depends how we pull back and how we shape up. But it's definitely a pair I'm very interested in. And I like the idea of buys on this pair. And also like Euro Pound as well. Euro Pound is something that is interesting to me. I like probably the entries on the hourly chart, more so the 4 hour. Looking to see if we can return back to resistance. We've more or less come into the level, but I'm looking to see if we can have a deeper test and really push towards the high. And we have left behind a relatively nice area below us. Brief consolidation, strong break to the upside. Can we come back and revisit this, maybe retest it before we do continue higher? Well, that's something that would interest me there for Euro Pound as well. I like Euro Pound at the moment because we do have some consistency to the market in terms of trend and momentum. We had the double bottom back over here, very strong up move, Since then, we've been putting in higher highs and higher lows. Momentum is still with the buyers here, still respecting areas of demand. So I like what I'm seeing, and there's a good chance that we could react with that area and continue higher. So I don't mind getting into some longs, just trading it back to resistance. So Euro pounds on the watch list. We'll definitely keep an eye on that as well. And those are mostly the pairs which I'm keeping a close eye on. Quite like CAD yen shorts as well, but we can get into that a little bit later on. We'll take a look at BTC for Roddy. We'll go through gold, pound yen as well. Swiss yen, Stefan, no problem. We'll take a look. Poppy, okay, nice. But yeah, I mean, Euro pound is looking good at the moment. It doesn't necessarily have to have the deeper correction. That's kind of what I would prefer it to do. But in fairness, we have just about tapped into this area here below us. And it's a very strong reaction. So I think Euro pound is likely to continue higher. This is personally where I want to get involved in. But yeah, it's looking bullish at the moment. And we might not have that deeper correction. We might just push through. So I like the buy. Just personally, I like a deeper correction. That's kind of where I want to find my entries. But yeah, we are agreeing with the same buys pretty much. Let's see if we can get that continuation. But I do like the buys for Euro pound. In terms of BTC, the way I've been kind of keeping tabs on this one is relative to this descending channel. So if I connect the highs and connect the lows, you can see how price has been moving. So we've got one high over there. We had a lower high, lower low, another lower low. So basically my situation with BTC, or my analysis for BTC, is just depending what price does here basically. Do we reject this area? Well, if that's the case, we're likely to come right back down and retest support. Or are we prepared to break through the area? In that case, we'll like to push back to the all-time highs and probably a lot further as well. Maybe we see another big bullish cycle there for BTC. So either situation, I would say, is just as likely as the other. We're currently still kind of failing at the prior highs as well. So we're kind of stuck in resistance a little bit. But I wouldn't say anything is quite clear right now. It looks to me that price is respecting the low, respecting the trend line as support. Perhaps we are putting a bit of a double bottom here for price to get going. I said yesterday some buys could look good if price does break through resistance here, and we can look for a retest above that. I think that would be a smart place for a buy, because you got the assurance that, okay, we are respecting the channel as support, we're breaking highs again, so the trend is still alive and well. And then of course you've got support below us, which will make make a good level to buy from if we can get a retest potentially. So I like the idea of price breaking through the high here. That really confirms to me that we're bullish. And I also like the idea of price breaking through support here. That confirms to me that we're bearish, and that this is likely just price respecting the high end of the channel, maybe a slight fake out, but we're likely to continue lower back into support. So I can see price going both ways. I think I'll probably lean slightly towards the bullish side of things. It does look like we're retesting, but like I said, I wouldn't be confident until I see a strong break above these highs here. I know that does mean that you enter a little bit late into the market. Potentially the market leaves without you. That's a situation as well. But I think things are still a little bit 50-50. So waiting for a break of that and then some buys there. And you can even drop to the 15 for an opportunity there as well. Strong break of the high there. And some pullbacks afterwards. There could be some nice 15-minute opportunities for a retest of that high for a buy as well. I think, at the moment, it looks like from a 15-minute perspective, support here is holding. So it looks like we can get a bit of a rally to the upside. Of course, you are coming into some resistance at the moment, so I'd watch out for that. But I do think price can, that's a very awful arrow. I do think price can rally for BTC. It looks like the 50-minute is doing a pretty good job at support there. I think we can see a bit of a continuation. But the clearance of the highs here would be kind of the confident situation, the confident kind of sign to us that, okay, we are bullish and we're probably likely to run to highs and see some higher highs as well. But I don't mind the buys here. We're seeing strong rejection of support. Like I said, it looks like we are coming back to retest the the channel there. So it looks like we are probably set to continue to the upside. I also like the 4-hour close here as well. Nice close there previously, engulfing the previous candle. Nice wick to the downside. So I would favor short-term upside as well. I think we can push back into resistance here. We'll see if price does break through or not. We might respect it and come back down, so watch out for that. But to me, it looks like price is respecting support, continuing this momentum from last week. And we could probably see a push back into 109.750 or 110 really. So yeah, I do agree buys short-term there of BTC. They do look good as long as we can hold that support level at 107.700. I do think we can see a bit of a push back into 109.900 or 110 we'll call it. So yeah, that's my expectation for BTC. In terms of gold, like I said, it's just very range bound, so I'm not really interested in the price action at all with gold. The way I see it, we're looking very, very flat, and I'm not interested until we do push back into support, which will be down here at 3160, 3150. So yeah, gold very range bound. I would be very careful about finding opportunities and just keeping it short and sweet, because when things are ranging, particularly when you're operating in the middle of the range, trying to hold positions for long just leave yourself exposed, because this is where the most fluctuation is going to happen. So even if price is going for you, the odds of price kind of doing a weird fluctuation, turning around, knocking you out break even, is actually pretty high in these conditions. And if you are going to trade them, you kind of want to be at the lows or at the highs, away from all the noise, which is why I want to see price make a move lower, preferably to this level, to get me back into some very safe territories to buy, some smart stop losses below the low, and just allow me the possibility to take advantage of a big swing as well. So killing a lot of birds with one stone there. But in this area, we spoke about some buys yesterday off this area, did react pretty well, but I haven't really seen us get going yet. And I suppose that's just due to the conditions of the market now. Very, very rangy. If you're operating there for gold, keep it short term. I wouldn't look for any sustained, big moves. Chances are it probably does reverse and goes against you. So watch out for that on gold. We'll go through Euro USD and pound yen next. Swiss yen we'll take a look at as well, Stefan. No problem, Roddy. Happy to help. Short term Euro USD down to the 15. Okay, I'll take a look as well. Actually, I'm about to go through that now. So yeah, Euro USD in terms of the 15. I think we're actually looking pretty interesting. Well, from a 4-hour perspective, this is where I'm looking for us to get to. I know it's not the 15, but it's nice to know what the high time frames are doing before we do take a look at the 15-minute chart. But this is where I'm expecting price to get to. I think that's a nice place for a buy. So if you are bullish, looking for a bounce, looking for a reaction, I think this is a smart place for a buy. There's a lot of confidence there. You've got the higher lows mapped up, and this is a logical area where another higher low could come into play. And also you've got prior resistance here, which of course will be turned support. And you've got this area of demand here where we do consolidate, strong break to the upside. This is where a lot of momentum came from. So I think there's a genuine case to see another strong push to the upside for Euro, and maybe more buyers can enter the market at this particular price. So I think this is a smart area to get involved in. As I drop to the 15-minute chart, I do agree. I would be bearish. I think we can see more downside. There has been a common theme on the 15-minute chart as well, which is retest of the consolidation of the previous bearish leg. So you can see here, push, pull back, brief consolidation, big push down, came back to retest that, consolidated itself, another continuation lower. We came back, formed another consolidation here, which of course gave this push down. We came back and just about retested that, and then continued down, and also we formed another consolidation over here as well, which looks like the market just came back to retest there. So it's happened once, twice, and a third time. So a hat trick of times. I did joke about this yesterday. I said it would be funny if we come back again to retest it and produce a hat trick of the same pattern. And looks like we have done that. It's been a very strong reaction, and we're looking pretty bearish at the moment. So I think this is still a smart place for a short. Of course, if you're not in the position, you kind of want price to push back into the level again, react with it again, and look for an entry off that. I think entering now would be a little bit late. So ideally, you want price to push back into the zone. But yeah, the plan is euro has been very consistent with these lower highs. One over there, second, kind of equal highs there, another lower high. And now potentially this could be the next one. But as long as we don't break through this high here, we stay bearish. If price suddenly rallies through that, I'd back away. Euro is bullish at that point. Perhaps we are going to run back to highs and see some new highs. But for now, that's not the case. We've still had a fairly corrective move to the upside here in its entire as a whole. So this leads me to expect just a pullback, a retracement for us to continue lower. So if price can come back, retest that zone, I think that's a great place to look for a short. And then naturally expecting a push back into the lows there. And of course, like I said, we do have that 4 hour zone just below us. Maybe you do end up there as well. Maybe you want to leave positions to run just in case we find ourselves heading towards that area. But the way I see it, euro is very consistent with these lower highs. We'll pull back into another healthy level of supply to sell from. So I'll look for some entries in that area and see if we can take it back into 1.161. But yeah, euro pretty bullish for me. I think we're due a pullback as well on the higher time frame. So yeah, higher time frames are extended, due a pullback. 4 hour kind of just tested the upper end of this channel. We're due a pullback from that, which we kind of are going through at the moment, but I expect more. And of course, in the 50-minute, we've been respecting supply, and we've been forming lower high after lower high. So there's quite a lot of reasons why we could see some more downside, and why shorts is a good option to take here. So I would keep an eye out for that on the 15. Just another retest of that area for some entries. We'll go through pound yen next. I don't think I've missed out a pair. Yeah, we'll take a look at pound yen next. We'll go through Swiss yen as well. Menchi, what's up, my man? Hope you're well. No problem. No need to apologize. Yes, I have taken a look, but I can go through them in a bit more detail for you. So do not worry. I'll add them to the list. But yeah, the yen pairs have been pretty bullish, haven't they? The yen's been pretty weak. We'll go through the yen basket shortly. But the yen's been pretty weak, which of course has helped the pounds. Well, has helped the yen pairs in general, but definitely pound yen. Push higher. We had a very impulsive move yesterday. I believe we were trading around here yesterday, maybe. And then as I ended the stream, market really did pick up momentum and flew to the upside. But things are getting interesting now with pound yen. I don't think we're quite at the resistance yet. Yeah, not quite. I mean, maybe missed it by a few pips here and there, but we're more or less coming into resistance here. But yeah, my plan is with pound yen to see what we do here, because if you look at a very similar pair to pound yen, euro yen came back into a pretty big level recently, but absolutely broke through that level, and now looks like it's heading back to the high. Maybe pound yen is gonna copy euro and do the same thing. It does tend to, euro and pound do tend to do the same thing. At the moment, euro is being a lot stronger than pound, which is why we've kind of flown for euro. And pound, that's not the case so far, but we could play catch up. Things can change pretty dramatically. But at the moment, pound yen is approaching resistance here. So there might be some selling opportunities here for pound yen. Again, more of an aggressive trade, but it does make sense. You can see the channel price has been operating in. And to me, it looks like price is just coming back to the upper end of this channel, and we could be seeing a reaction. Of course, it lines up pretty well with the resistance to our left there. So if we can see some more meaningful rejection here, I think this is actually a smart place for a buy, for a sell, sorry. In terms of buys, I think we've had the buys. Ideally, you kind of already want to be in the buys, or at least looking to try and take profit right now for your buy opportunities and start to exit the position. Like I said, we were trading around here last time we spoke. Price has definitely left that area behind. So yeah, I wouldn't be trying to force any buying opportunities at the moment. So if anything, there could be some shorts here to look out for pound yen. Major resistance, big push down last time we were there. Maybe we see a repeat of that. maybe we see what euro yen does, maybe get a big breakout. Again, when price does reach these levels, I'm not trying to force an opinion or force an expectation of what price is going to do. It can really do either or. I would have a plan kind of for both directions and then just wait for the market to tell me. At the moment, we don't have enough information. We've only just got to the level, so it's difficult to say whether we're going to have a strong rejection or not. Let's see how price develops, and then hopefully we can make a good educated guess on the next move for euro pound and pound yen, and wait for some opportunities to enter the market. But yeah, we've been very, very bullish. Smash into resistance now. Let's see how price does react. If we see some solid rejection, that's exactly what I'll be looking for. In terms of Swiss yen, so Swiss yen, I haven't really been keeping tabs too much on this because we have recently made the all-time highs. So I'm actually just getting ready for some selling opportunities, really. The way I see it, the market's quite overstretched, quite overbought. And I feel like we are very much due a big pullback. This is all-time highs as well. We've never been higher than where we are right now. So I believe we are quite overstretched as well. If you think about it, anyone buying the market probably is taking gains at the moment, exiting some of their buy positions. Might not completely exit the market because it has been a very, very strong uptrend. So there could well be a lot more upside on the table. But because again, we're making all-time highs, it's probably time for a lot of people to pay themselves, which naturally should invite a lot of sellers into the market. And we should see somewhat of a bearish reaction, which hasn't happened yet. So with Swiss yen, I'm kind of looking at some counter trend opportunities. If we can form some lower lows and lower highs, I wouldn't mind taking some shorts off the back of that. And if we have a big enough pullback, I wouldn't mind taking some longs. Pull back into this area looks like a very smart place for a buy. If price can come back and revisit 176, I think that'll be a smart place for a buy. And I wouldn't mind looking to sell the market to that level to then buy it back up later on. So altogether for Swiss yen, all-time high, very, very bullish, very, very extended. I think we are starting to come into a top pretty soon. Looking for a much bigger pullback into 176 looks very ideal for me. But in the meantime, there might be some nice shorts to take advantage of on the way back down, playing into those counter trend moves. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Swiss yen. If I take a look at the yen basket quickly, you can see how, if I can spell, which apparently I cannot. There we go. Took a few too many attempts there. But yeah, in terms of the yen itself, is looking very, very weak at the moment. We can see it's still falling, but I do have my skepticisms with yen weakness at the moment. We've been very, very weak on the way down, and to me, it looks like price is having a larger correction for a big up move back into resistance and maybe further as well. So I would actually be very cautious about looking to short the yen. I feel like, yes, at the moment we could still see more downside. You still push back into a range like this, retest it and continue, and go and smash into some lows here at 62.27. That very much could be the case, but when things are moving as corrective as the yen is moving now, normally that does result in a big push higher, and I think that's where the bigger move will be, and that's where probably the better move will be as well. So yen right now looking bearish. We could still continue falling. I dropped the 4-hour chart, still ripping through the lows, but we are very corrective, so I do think we'll kind of rip back up pretty soon, to be honest, and then hopefully find some buys off the back of that. And that's where I really think the bigger move will be, and that's what I'm interested myself. So yeah, Swiss yen, hopefully that made sense. I went through the yen basket as well, which shows that yes, the yen is still pretty weak right now, but I do feel like some strength is on the cards pretty soon for the yen basket, judging how corrective we are. Again, that might not be a situation until next week, so it's definitely not a trade signal to be traded now. It's something to keep in the back of the minds. Okay, we are very corrective, so although the market is still falling and doing a good job at that, we might not see another big move. So be prepared for shorter term swings and price kind of struggling to push lower. Unless we have a big sell-off and price really melts down and makes things healthy again, then yeah, fair enough. Maybe the yen is going to be longer term weak. But until then, I'll be very, very cautious. Okay, so we'll go through pound Aussie, pound NZD for Menchie. No problem, Roddy. Happy to help. And Nathaniel, yes, we can take a look at US 30. Is it 40-minute time frame? I'm assuming 50-minute time frame. I'll take a look at the 15. 14. I mean, I can look at the 14 if you want, but I'm sure you mean 15. Anyway, so pound Aussie. So pound Aussie, we had a strong reaction yesterday off the back of some news for Aussie. Price did have a very bullish run at the start of the week, and now we're looking pretty bearish. I was looking to see what we can do back at resistance again, maybe look for another entry. Things look good. In this case, price got very close to doing that, but not quite enough to test that level. Now we're looking pretty bearish. Again, long term, I do expect pound Aussie to drop lower. I'm looking at a retest of this consolidation just below us at 2, pretty much 2.0000. So a big psychological level to me. The way I see it, we've been very, very counter trend here. And I think price is likely to go and snap through that. And that could provide some nice shorts on the way down. Back into that larger zone there. So pound Aussie is definitely a pair which I like a lot, and I am very short bias on. I'm looking to see if I can get back into another trade, but the only way I do that is if we push back into resistance again, because that allows me to have a very nice stop loss above the highs and away from all the noise. Or price does just go and break through lows very, very aggressively, and there are just retest opportunities for a short there. So either which way, short bias. Not really looking to trade within the range here in the middle. If I am, like I said, it's going to be at the high, which of course we're not at quite yet, so I have to be patient for that. But in terms of direction for pound Aussie, in terms of the biggest swing, let me know if you do want a more intraday outlook or intraday analysis, because my kind of time horizon when I'm looking for swings is between at least a week and maybe 2 or 3 months potentially sometimes. I have a bias for like a quarter even. So, predominantly speaking, I have a more long-term bias. But if you do want me to look for what's the bias for this week or the bias for today, let me know, and I will tailor that for you. But pound Aussie, that's exactly what I'm looking at. And for pound NZD, that's pretty much what I'm looking at as well. I also did say if things do break higher, I will stand corrected. Because for pound NZD, this has been a nice slow grind to the upside. I do expect us to push down pretty hard. So I am pretty bearish longer term, but I could be wrong with that bias. And maybe price does want to break to the upside. Well, if it does break to the upside, I will look for some pullbacks. Hopefully maybe a retest on this area. It depends how we look. And from there, some longs back into the recent swing high. So I can see price going both ways. I do lean towards the bearish side of things. I think price will fall to the downside, but I don't want to rush into that or jump in when when the setup's not quite ready yet. So pound NZD, definitely something I want to keep a close eye on. Pound Aussie, I'm going to keep a close eye on. They're both on my watch list, but not quite ready yet to be involved. I think pound NZD is the closest, because if we can push into resistance here, I think that'll be a smart place for a short, because you can get your stops above all the noise, above resistance, and then take advantage of the range here. We are fluctuating. Hopefully we just push back into support, locking gains there. Maybe you let some positions to trail. But that is where I'm at with pound NZD and pound Aussie. Okay, we'll take a look at US 30 on the 15. What's up, Chris? Welcome to the stream, my man. I hope you're well. Welcome. Okay, just a week. Okay. So yeah, for the week then, it would be bearish for the week, and I'll look to short high. Bearish for the week, look to short high. Pound Aussie, bearish for the week, look to short high. But now things are a bit awkward for pound Aussie because we're not at the highs anymore. So personally, I'm not seeing much of an opportunity here because we're just fluctuating. There might be some buys off the low. I would be very careful with them and not trying to stay in them too long. If we could push down into the lower here, I think we will bounce just because of the nature of the market, but I'm not expecting a big swing. I think if you can catch a nice reaction, lock in some gains, and just see what happens next. Maybe we do see a big swing. Maybe it just goes a third of the way and then takes you out for break even. Either way, you can catch a nice trade without taking the loss there, or hopefully not taking the loss. Of course, that's not guaranteed. But yeah, I would be looking to buy low, sell high. Predominantly, I do have a bearish buy, so ideally, I would like to short the highs there. But again, with Pound Aussie seeing this reaction, I'm not too sure if we get back to resistance again. So I think Pound NZD is a bit more realistic there. Nathaniel, do appreciate it. Swish in intraday, okay, we'll take a look. Appreciate it. Thank you. I'm glad you do enjoy the analysis. Menchi, happy to help. Malik, okay, few ideas. Dollar Seat Chef, gold, US 30. Okay, nice. Well, I'm about to take a look at US 30 next, so we can go through that as well. So with US 30, would you look at that? Last time I looked at US 30, we're trading here. It was just last time I looked at it was on my stream yesterday, so I haven't seen that price action at all. But I like that actually. I quite like the reason why I like it is because again, US 30, major US indice hasn't created new all-time highs. S&P, we've done that. We created new all-time highs last week, or the week before even. Nasdaq created new all-time highs as well. So the other major US indices have created all-time highs, and again, they all do the same thing mostly. And US 30 is likely to follow suit and make new all-time highs as well. So the fact that we had this drop lower just allows us to buy at better prices and still take advantage of the likelihood of us going to make new highs, which is pretty high. So as we do push lower, I think, especially with the way we did it, it was a very aggressive move. Breaking through this consolidation here as well. I think we probably could even see a retest of that and some more downside, to be honest, with US 30. I will still be bullish on this one. I'll keep a close eye on this consolidation. That would be my next preferred area for a buy. I still do like this area here, but I don't see the market having that big of a pullback. I think we'll be lucky to see a push into this area. This area looks very good. Prior high, nice kind of brief pause there. Really strong move to the upside. No retest of the area. So it's definitely on paper a very nice place for a buy. But we're very high up. And I don't think we do see a big enough pullback to get there. I could be wrong. So I would definitely keep an eye on 43,100 if we do see a pullback that big. But I don't think we will. I think this is a more realistic situation. And we're not too far away. And there might be some nice shorts to take as well. So from a 50-minute perspective, I like the idea of shorts on US 30 at the moment. I think that's the play for US 30. And perhaps a retest of this zone or retest of that low. Just looking to continue that momentum from yesterday. And then we'll see how price reacts here. I would be looking for some buys to take it back up again. Maybe not so much on the 15-minute chart, but I mean, you can do. But I'll probably look for like an hourly opportunity there. But 50-minute chart, I like the pullbacks, I like the shorts here. So looking for a push down, for a push up is very much the plan. Okay. Yeah, so looking for shorts and the push up. Malik, you said you're long in US 30, target the highs. Where are you long from? 44,077. Is that on the 15-minute chart? Well, you didn't say, so I'm not going to assume that. 44,077. Is that like a limit order? Have you set an order there for price to test that area, then buy? If so, I like that. I mean, I always wait for confirmations. I'm always looking for candlestick patterns before I enter. But in terms of the location, I'm definitely on board. That's literally the area which we just mentioned. So I like this area a lot. I think that's the most realistic area for a buy there for US30. Then yeah, I would target the highs as well. I think I would have the expectation that price is likely to push back to the all-time highs, or at least these highs. But then if we get there, we're probably going to get there anyway. So I think looking to try and look for that big move back to highs is a smart move as well. And you can always manage the trade as we go along. But very, very nice area of demand, consolidated for a few hours. Huge candle to the upside. I think this is a smart place for a buy. And also any early buys as well. Very, very at risk here. People getting involved here, stops below that wick low. I think very, very likely to get ran and push into the more kind of significant area and then see the reaction. So I like the buys from that zone. Okay, not in the trader consensus. Okay, yeah, cool. I definitely agree. So yeah, I like that area as well. Very nice consolidation. I think it's a likely area which we can see a reaction. We might not get back to the all-time highs. Of course, no one can guarantee that, but I would say US30 is still very likely to see new highs there. So if we can pick up some longs here, if momentum picks up, you never know. It could be onto a very, very nice move there. So short-term 15-minute, I think shorts look the best bet, especially if you can come back and retest the range. Very strong move breaking through structure yesterday. So lower time frames, I think, look pretty bearish here, but the bigger move is still very bullish. If I expand to the daily chart and zoom out, you can see this market is still very, very bullish. Even if you do push down for a few days, you're still looking for that reversal to take it back up again. So the bigger picture, US30 still bullish, but 50-minute chart, I can see some short opportunities there, which look pretty good to me. Okay, so we'll go through CHF JPY intraday for Roddy. And then we'll take a look at some of Malik's positions, so dollar CHF and gold as well. Chris, no problem, appreciate it. Thank you. No problem, I'm glad you do find it useful, enjoy it. That is great to hear. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. And if you find it useful, informative, educational, subscribe, hit the bell as well so you don't miss any streams or uploads in the future. But yeah, I do really appreciate if you do drop a like, guys. It does really help out. And thank you to all who have done so. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with US30. In terms of Swiss yen intraday, I'll drop to the 15. Again, this is just still very, very bullish. There's not a lot to do here really, because I wouldn't want to buy the market. I'm speaking as a swing trader. I want to buy the market because we've already been bullish. There's no opportunity there for the buys anymore. If you're looking at kind of short-term opportunities, then yeah, buys do look good, but you want to keep it short and sweet. The market is very overstretched. These are all-time highs. This is the most bullish situation you can ever be in, really. At all-time highs, strong bullish trend. Very, very few things are more bullish than this right now. So in this case, I would expect a pullback to happen soon, but we're not really seeing signs of that. We are becoming a bit more corrective, but should we see a strong push higher, this becomes a healthy area for a retest and a smart place for a buy. But again, keep it short and sweet. If we get back to the highs there, probably lock in some gains, remove risk, maybe trail stops, maybe see how far we can take it. We don't know. Maybe there's a big move to be had, or maybe we're at the top of the trend. We're not too sure. But what I can say is that we have been trending for a while. A pullback's going to be likely. So yes, buys look good, but just keep it short and sweet. If you do get a nice entry, no need to shoot for the moon here because we're literally at the moon. So I wouldn't keep looking to buy this one. If you are looking for a bigger swing trade, then you want to see a much bigger pullback, as we mentioned before. I'm personally looking for selling opportunities to take this back down, but the sales are not quite ready yet. The market's still bullish. I don't want to get into the way of that. We could always go a lot higher. So yeah, intraday longs look good. 15-minute in particular, just taking a piece of the pie, small piece of the pie. But we are quite overbought right now. Market is quite stretched. I wouldn't look for any big moves here. We are close to the top of that trend rather than the start of it. So need to be cautious with the buys there. Okay, so dollar CHF, gold. Rexus, good morning, my man. Hope you are well. Yusuf, good morning, my man. I hope you're well. I'm doing good, thank you, thank you. Hope you're doing good as well. Yes, I've looked at gold, but I can go through that quickly for you. I'm not a big fan of the price action, so I'll keep it short and sweet. The way I see gold right now is kind of just moving sideways, so I don't want to go into too much detail about the intraday movements. I can look intraday a little bit, but I think it's best to let gold do what it wants to do until we get some momentum back into gold. Otherwise, it might be an easy pair to give back a lot of gains to. But we'll take a look at gold actually, because I'm supposed to look at gold for Malik's position. So we'll go through gold at the moment. This is something I'm interested in personally. Some buys down here because after all, the overall trend for gold is still very much bullish. You expand to the higher time frames, look at the bigger picture. This is still a very, very, very bullish market. So there's no signs of reversal just yet. There are signs of us tiring, failing to create new highs, yes, but not a reversal. So buys are still very much the best bet, even intraday as well. So I like the buys down here, but of course we're nowhere near that level, so no need to go into too much detail. We're probably still a couple of weeks from that level, but that's kind of where, from a swing perspective, it would make sense. At the lows of the range, if things reject well, could be a very big move, even to the upper end of the range, let alone a breakout. So the buys look pretty tasty down there, but we can speak again more about that in the future. But again, if I look at the 4-hour chart, we're just very, very flat right here. So I wouldn't be looking for any big moves right now for gold, especially intraday, especially inside of this noise, because what you're going to get is you're going to get a lot of fluctuation. A bit of a rally, push back down, another rally, push back down. You're going to get a sustained move because there's just no momentum in the market right now. I talked about some buys over here yesterday, which we have seen a nice reaction for. I did talk about pushback into resistance here. Haven't quite seen that yet. We are struggling at resistance there, but am I surprised? Absolutely not. Just look at the market. We're not really doing much. So price is going to get stuck at resistance in these conditions because we're lacking the force, the momentum to go break through. So gold right now is very, very flat. I'm not really seeing another good opportunity. I did suggest maybe there's some shorts off the high here. I think that could be a smart place to short from. But again, keeping it short and sweet, not trying to overstay our welcome, because there is no kind of clear-cut direction for gold right now in this area. So the best thing to do is buy low and sell high. Sell from resistance, buy from support, and don't be afraid to take your profit, because in these conditions we can return and reverse against you pretty quickly. But Malik said you got a position on for gold. You're buying it from or looking to buy 32.82. So that would be around here-ish. So you're looking to buy from this area of demand, I assume. Again, like I said, not the biggest fan of the opportunities here. Again, intraday, I think it's an area which we can bounce from. We did pause here briefly, nice reaction to the upside. So again, we can very much get there, have a bit of a bounce, but that's it. That's all I would look for. Not to say that we can't rally and shoot for the moon. Yes, we can, but you have to look at probability. You have to take into consideration the conditions of the market and what we are doing. If you're trying to look for a big move here in these conditions, you're always going to run into problems, and very rarely would you capitalize on a big move. But there's nothing wrong with that, entering these conditions, but you just have to play in favor of them. So I'd keep my targets relatively close. There's a bit of a counter trend line that might develop here. That counter trend line could be a healthy target, and maybe this target if things go very well. But I'd be very cautious with the buy here. Conditions are very choppy. Yes, we might see a reaction, but that's the best I've got. There's no sign of momentum here for gold at all. So keeping it short and sweet for gold, I think, is the best way forward. Very, very choppy conditions, and in these conditions, it's very easy to give back a lot of your gains. Sometimes it's best just to stay away from a market. Things are not looking very clear. You do have that kind of natural tendency to want to take a trade, want to get into the market, want to make a profit. Who doesn't? But most of the time in that situation, it's better not to. Better not to get into a position. Maybe you do miss out on a move here and there, but you probably miss out on a lot of unnecessary losses as well, which is the big, which is the important thing. But I'm just not a big fan of gold, to be honest. Dollar CHF, this one I am looking for a bit more retracement for. We've been very, very bearish, falling out of the sky for quite a while. If I expand to the monthly chart, you can see price has, more or less come back into some very big levels of support. What's this? 0.79359. You can see the big reaction we had. This is back in 2011 on the monthly charts. So it's been over a decade since we've been at these prices, but I do think we are likely to have a bit of retracement. Maybe price still does continue lower, maybe, but I think a bit of retracement on the cards makes sense. And judging price action in the low time frames, judging the DXY as well, I do think we're likely to see that. There is a pretty big level just above us as well, which is going to be an interesting level. As you can see, price support once, second time over there. We've since broken through. I think this is a smart place for a short, where we could see a move down. Malik, you said you are sell from 0.8040, which would be that zone. So I think that would be a smart place to short from for dollar CHF. I wouldn't be looking for a big move because I think the market is quite stretched, quite oversold. Yes, we're very consistent with all these lower highs. It's probably a nice trend line lining up with that zone as well. So there's some nice confluence there, but it's the same analysis for euro, same analysis for pound. I think these are smart places for a sell. If I flick over to euro, I think this is a smart place for a buy over here. Very much a similar opportunity coming back into the trend line, retesting structure there. Pound USD as well. Coming back into the trend line, you got a nice area of demand there, nice push to the upside. So again, I think this is a smart place for a buy. It's the same opportunity really, but I think I don't expect to see a big move. I expect to see a reaction. I don't expect to see a big move because I feel like they're all quite oversold or overbought, and they're likely to have a bigger retracement. So pound, I think a reaction 1.35 looks good, but I'm looking for a short-term move, maybe a day or two, and then eventually we sell off. That's kind of what I'm looking for, but we'll judge it as things go along. Dollar CHF, same thing as well. I think the market's quite oversold or quite stretched. I think the bigger move is going to be to the upside in terms of a relief or a pullback. Yes, this looks like a nice place to short, but I'd be careful about trying to stretch the trade too far. But in terms of the area alone, I like it. So hopefully that made sense. Okay, so we'll go through. Where was I? If I have missed out a pair, just drop it down in the chat again. But next up, we'll take a look at. Okay, I'll take a look at gold on the 15. But again, still not a big fan of gold. Yeah, it has been weird. It has been weird. Thinking of changing pair. Yeah, again, a big part of trading is just about spotting opportunities and good opportunities as well. And sometimes pairs will go through a bit of a choppy period, a bit of a weird period where the opportunities are just not great. And there'll be another market which is providing a lot better opportunities, maybe according to your strategy. And it would be the smart decision to go and trade that other pair rather than force something on gold. The best decision would be to sit in your hands and wait for gold to present something good rather than entertain any kind of rubbish opportunities or go and switch pair. I would say though, you want to have a bit of experience with the other pair because gold is its own pair. It's going to move slightly different to other pairs as well, so you want to have a bit of experience with other pairs before jumping straight into them. Yeah, if a pair's not looking good, no need to entertain it. Amos, good morning. Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. Roddy, thank you. I'm glad you find it useful. Adams, good day. Hope you're well. Okay. Confused as to what the direction is now. Okay, I'll go for the DAX as well. But first, I'll take a look at gold on the 15. Then we can take a look at the DAX as well. So gold on the 15. Again, I'm still not a fan of the whole pair. So dropping to the 15 isn't gonna change much. There might be maybe a short-term opportunity there, but again, the emphasis on the short term. I wouldn't look for any sustained moves on gold. Yeah, to be honest, I probably even will look at the 15, to be honest. Because the reason why I liked the buys yesterday is because we came back into this low here, and it gave us that nice inverse head and shoulder pattern. So I said that's a smart place for a buy. You got price support. I like that area for a buy, but I wouldn't look for any big move from that area anyway. Now that we have seen a very nice reaction, we've smashed into resistance, struggled to break through that now. And now we're pushing back down. I mean, we could actually see another head and shoulder, inverse head and shoulder pattern happen again. There's your left shoulder. There's your head. Perhaps another retest of it. And that just kind of sums up gold to a T, really. You're getting inverse head and shoulder patterns within inverse head and shoulder patterns. So that just shows you how rangy the market is. But I'm not really seeing a clear-cut opportunity, to be honest with you, Yusuf. Again, when I'm looking at the 50-minute chart, sometimes there's a good opportunity, sometimes there isn't. I'm not really feeling anything here. I think this was a nice place for a buy. I think if price can get back there again, I think that could end up being another a decent buy. Another reaction to the upside, maybe as big as that, maybe even bigger. So I think this is still a healthy place for a buy back at 32.97. But that's about it. I'll look for a short-term buy off that. Maybe I capitalize on a big swing. Maybe it only goes halfway, then it goes against me. Or maybe I end up taking a loss. You know, that's, of course, is always a circumstance as well. But we had a really nice reaction there yesterday. Some nice momentum. I would entertain another buy if price was to get there again. But on the 15, that's the best I've kind of got here. The market is fluctuating quite hard. I wouldn't look for anything too crazy here. So yeah, very, very flat behavior, but I do like the buy there. Okay, so we'll go through the DAX. Now, I haven't actually looked at the DAX since yesterday. I haven't actually looked at any of the indices since yesterday. So, okay, so the DAX is flying. So yesterday on stream, I believe we were, I think here. Yeah, I spoke about price coming to resistance. I said, looks like price is probably going to break through. But yeah, the DAX as a whole is still a very, very bullish market. If I expand to the daily chart, zoom out, you can see what we're doing. Yeah, things look very, very bullish to me with the DAX. Looks like we had a simple kind of breaking retest of this area. We did dip slightly below, but for the most part, we did respect that zone. And looks like the DAX is on a one-way ticket back to highs here. And I would expect new highs to form shortly afterwards. So if I was looking to trade the DAX, the only thing I would be doing is looking to buy it. I would not be entertaining any sell opportunities whatsoever. Yes, I'm not saying there won't be, but I'm just expecting the bigger move to be to the upside. So I'm not going to waste my time trying to find shorts when I can just focus on the buys, because that's where I expect the bigger move to be. Yeah, so now that we have broken through this area, I think this would be a fantastic place for a buy. If we could see a nice pullback there for the DAX. We've got a low here, market formed another higher low. Can we see another pullback of this leg here? Test this area, lines up pretty well with the 50, and then continue our journey at least back into resistance, but more importantly, back into the all-time highs. Yeah, I would be very, very bullish on the DAX. I said last week, as long as price doesn't take out this swing low here, because of course this is the low which gave us this high. So as long as price doesn't break through this low here, I remain bullish on the DAX and looking for us to return back to the all-time highs. And that's exactly what price has done. It's respected the highs there very well. Now we're seeing momentum come into the market. The only opportunity I see would just be waiting for a pullback. Of course, you don't want to buy it now. We're heading to resistance. Not the best time to be looking to buy the market. If we don't see a pullback come and test this area, then maybe you want to keep an eye on a pullback of this level here as well. That'll probably be your next best opportunity. Maybe we don't get the bigger pullback here, but maybe we do get a break and retest of this level, and that could be a smart buy. And of course, targets back into the all-time high. But yeah, the DAX very, very bullish to me. So direction, I'd say very, very bullish. You got the monthly chart all the way to like the 15-minute chart is all pointing up in terms of market structure. So only looking to buy. I know we're approaching resistance here, and then probably be some people looking to sell here. It makes sense, yeah, resistance, you sell at resistance, buy at support. So I can understand the logic there, but in terms of momentum, in terms of trend, that's definitely with the buyers, and I'd rather be with them than against them, especially in a market like this, like the DAX, and in this condition here as well. So only looking to buy the DAX for now, and definitely very, very bullish on the pair. So yeah, hopefully that made sense. Okay, so some pairs which I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on as the week progresses. I've got a few pairs on the watch list. I'm still quite keen for Euro Aussie, Pound Aussie, Pound NZD, those kind of crosses. I also like Euro Pound as well to the upside, but we're not quite at my zone yet, so I'm going to stay patient with that. We're looking quite bullish, and we don't have to pull back there, but we'll see what price gives us. We're looking very bullish right now. No problem, Malik. No problem, Yusuf. Happy to help. We're looking quite bullish at the moment, so I'm just going to wait patiently to see if we can get some deeper pullbacks. I always like finding the deeper pullbacks because the logic of it is that people are getting to the market earlier. I'm getting a little bit later, where the value is, where the cheaper prices are, where I can take advantage of people getting caught in the wrong direction before the move does happen. So I always like buying a little bit later if I can, rather than trying to be the first person to the trade. And again, there is times where buying later means you do miss out on trades. 100%, nothing's perfect, but that's kind of the areas which I want to operate in. I think one of the biggest lessons you can take from trading is to specialize in situations. What situations do you want to specialize in? Is it following momentum aggressively, identifying where momentum is, and then buying that momentum and profiting from that momentum as well? Or is it looking to fade that momentum, looking for signs where momentum is dying, and looking for the reversal? Is it pullbacks? Is it counter trend moves? Is it breakout ideas? Is it range play? Whatever it is, you want to specialize in that and get really good at that. And of course, there will be other opportunities outside of that. You're just going to have to put that to one side and focus on whatever you're focusing on. You can always add more strategies to your arsenal as you grow on, but the first thing to do is get one strategy down first before you get a second. Whatever it is, you just want to make sure you focus on it. But for Euro Pound, same logic here applies. Just looking for a deeper pullback. I like the zone here. Nice range, strong break to the upside. Hoping for a pullback into that zone. Euro Aussie, like I said, I like shorts on this one. Keeping a close eye, especially after the reaction we had last night. It's making me think, okay, is this just a big fake out? Is this where a lot of people had their stops? They've been taken out of the market, and now are we ready for the big sell? Maybe. I want to see kind of momentum pick up a little bit. We have this kind of counter trend line here. I'm watching out for that. This is still an area where buyers could sit and push us higher. So price can potentially clear through that. That might be enough to give me an entry. I probably will be taking a trade with a pretty large stop loss, but I don't mind that because I would have a pretty large target as well. I probably could still get more than 1 to 2 into that level, which would be great. I would expect price to go further as well, but this would probably be the area which I take most of the profit at. But I like the way structure shaping up. A big kind of rally, probably trapped some buyers at the top here on that breakout, and of course stopped out some early sellers as well. Now maybe it's my time to get into the market. We'll see. If price does find support and continue and takes out highs, then it's clearly not something I should be shorting, and I'll stay away. But definitely keeping a close eye. We're at a healthy area, and I think we can come back down. Same situation with Aussie CHF as well. I do feel like we're at an area which we can see some upside. This one's still very corrective on the way down. Momentum's picked up a little bit after the Aussie news last night, but we're still operating this channel. We're testing the higher end of it now. Perhaps prices getting ready for a breakout. I think I'm going to wait for a strong close before looking to follow that. At the moment, still like the buys there, and definitely something I'll keep tabs on. Maybe if we see a strong close outside of that, I'll use that to my benefit and find an entry off that. Same thing for Euro Aussie as well. So maybe might find some entries this afternoon. I'll definitely keep an eye on both. I'm not looking to trade them both though. They're both kind of relying on Aussie strength. So I'm not going to double up. I'm going to pick which one looks better and focus on that. But like I said, they're very much the similar trade. So I'll just pick whichever one's looking better. Thank you, Malik. Appreciate that. Please, guys, make sure you like and subscribe. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It does really help out if you are enjoying it. Of course, keeps you in the loop of things so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads. Of course, hit the bell so you definitely don't miss out on any streams or uploads. But make sure you check it out and hit the bell if you haven't done so already. Okay, take care, Malik. We'll catch you tomorrow. Have a good one. Thank you for coming on. And also, guys, excuse me, if you haven't checked out the Telegram for Zentrix yet, make sure you go do so. I'll post the link to the Telegram in the chat again. But we are launching Zentrix. And if you do want more updates and information regarding the launch and the project, you can check it out. Check out the Telegram. We'll have more information there. You can stay up to date with developments in the launch. And if you are looking to test the platform, see what it's about, see what the platform has to offer, and see what is yet to come as well, you can test out the platform as well. Check out the Telegram. There's a form you can fill out and give your details, and you can look to test the platform before we do launch. So check it out if you are interested. But if you're looking to learn with AI and see how AI can help improve your trading, whether looking at trading, developing automated trading bots, indicators, strategies, improving strategies, looking for automated signals, and much more, make sure you check it out if you haven't done so already. Chris, yeah, fully agree. Yeah, of course. There's no point to force trades. Yeah, that's the worst thing to do. That is the worst thing to do, to force trades, because you got to think about every time you do you do place a trade, you are shooting your ammunition. You've only got so much ammunition. You've only got so much money in your account. If you take so many losing trades, you eventually blow the account. So every time you do take a trade, you're always using a bit of your ammunition, and your ammunition is finite. It's not unlimited. So you got to be cautious. You got to make smart decisions with that. And you're not going to spend that ammunition on opportunities which aren't worth your while. So you got to make sure that everything is worth taking before you do spend that ammunition. And of course, as a trader, you feel the need to click the button to get into a trade, but that's probably going to do a lot of your hard work, because a lot of people, after a decent amount of experience, maybe a couple of years in the markets, 3 years, you can spot good trading opportunities, but you might take one good trade and then you take 5 bad trades, and then you take another good trade and 5 bad trades. You'd rather just skip the bad trades and just take the good trades. It would do wonders for your equity curve. But yeah, I fully agree with that point. Of course. Not taking a trade is part of trading. Very, very true. Being selective is part of trading as well. Selecting the good trades and selecting and not selecting the bad trades are equally as important. So I fully agree with that. And that's kind of the conditions I'm seeing with gold right now. I think, there's been very good conditions the past couple of years with gold. Very, very nice trending opportunities, for people who like trending opportunity and trending markets. There's been some very nice opportunities for gold recently. And the pullbacks you'll find in these conditions and the opportunities you'll find in these conditions on the way up are very, very different to the opportunities you're going to find here. And they're just not going to be the same. So if you're doing very well in this environment, if you take the same outlook, the same strategy, the same analysis, and you trade it in this situation, in this condition, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna be losing and giving money back, or be in situations where you get into a nice buy and then your profit goes against you, and you get stopped out break even because the conditions are not the same. It's a different condition, so you have to be able to recognize that as well, and be able to choose. Okay, now it's time to back away. Go look at other markets, or just wait patiently for gold to set up. Teshepo, what's up? Bullish long term on pound CAD. What's your insight? Okay, is that a technical bias reason why you're long term bullish on pound CAD, or is that a fundamental bias, or is it both? I mean, for pound CAD, I'm kind of looking for a bit of retracement. It's been very bullish for quite a while, and I'm looking at a big pullback, similar to in the same situation as pound USD. Long term pound CAD may be very bullish. If I scoot to like the daily chart or even the weekly chart, to be honest, it's a very bullish market. We've been bullish since the low here in September 2022, so it's coming up to 3 years. This September will be 3 years since we formed this wick low, and we've just been on an upwards trajectory. So I think pound CAD is in very much need of a bit of a correction. Like I said, maybe the longer term move is still to the upside. Maybe we've still got higher prices to see. We have done a very good job at respecting the lows here after we created the new all-time lows. Long term, maybe price is gonna do something like this and go and test the highs up here. Maybe, who knows? I'm not going to speculate that far into the future because I'm not an investor in pound CAD. That could take years to happen, and none of us not really looking to hold a trade for that long. At least I would not expect to be. So maybe that is the long-term move for pound CAD, but the next kind of few weeks I am looking at a bit of a dip here for pound CAD, at least to come back and retest structure. Maybe we find support, maybe we continue. I'll analyze that as we go along. Yes, pound CAD has been in a very bullish trend. We've been seeing consistent higher highs and higher lows, but I am actually starting to get ready for some shorts. They're not quite here yet. What I did say, what I would like before I do short pound CAD is if price can violate this low here. If we can take out this low, that'll show to me that, okay, the sellers are coming into town. Maybe this is going to be a big double top here, and then I can be looking for some shorts to take this lower. And that only might last for maybe a couple of weeks. And then, like I said, maybe we do go bullish again and see the bigger continuation. That I'm not going to speculate on too much because a lot can happen in that time. And I'll wait for more information before I do speculate that far into the future. But the way I see it, we're quite tired. We're failing at the highs quite aggressively. I do think we can see a pretty decent down move, and that's kind of where I want to position myself. But longer than that, maybe we do continue higher. I'm not going to kind of consider that too much because at that point we could be discussing years into the future, which none of us are really looking to trade for that long. At least I wouldn't think so. But yeah, I do agree. It is a bullish market at the moment. So being bullish based on the trend makes sense. But I do feel like the trend is coming to an, not necessarily an end, but at least a point in time where we could see a bigger retracement. And if we can take out that low, then yes, I'll be looking to short. Of course, for all I know, price can still continue higher. At that point, I wouldn't be looking to short. But if we can take out this low, I think things get interesting. Poppy, okay, small pound CAD short, nice, it's going well so far. Yeah, I like the shorts. I did say actually earlier, I think I said my weekly analysis. that some intraday shorts could look good off this area. Yeah, price hasn't quite got there yet. Seems to be reacting slightly before that. It looks to be that you're selling pound quite a lot there, Poppy. You're buying euro pound. That's kind of relying on some pound weakness. Selling pound CAD. That's, of course, relying on some pound weakness as well. So you're quite bearish on GBP at the moment. But yeah, pound CAD, I think that would be a smart place for a short. Of course, we haven't got there. I would still keep an eye on it. Maybe we do. But yeah, things are looking pretty bearish right now. Momentum has definitely shifted with the bears. We've been very corrective on the way up here. And it looks like the bears have taken control now. And maybe we are on our way to keep falling. There was a lot of momentum to our left. So my expectation was that this is likely a pullback anyway for us to see some more downside. So I do agree with that kind of analysis of looking for the continuation of that bearish move and that we're likely to continue lower. I mentioned this area is a smart place to go short. Maybe we don't get there. Maybe price is ready to see that move. But yeah, pound CAD looking pretty bearish. I think there's more downside to be had. Like I said, I think there's a lot of downside to be had because we are quite stretched and we could be pushing to these lows. But we'll see how things develop. At the moment, this 4-hour candle is looking really good. It's got 2 hours left before it does close, but if it can close similar to how it's looking, it probably will take us back to the low here, which could be a nice first initial target. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with pound CADs. Hey Lauda, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Of course, we can take a look at Aussie CHF. I'm long bias as well. Join the party. I'm looking to buy Aussie CHF as well. I was actually stopped out on Monday. Yeah, coming into the week. But I'm still looking to see if I can get involved and take some buys and re-enter the position. I'm looking for a push back into this area. That's my longer term target, but I really like this area because we had a nice range and price absolutely dropped from that area with a lot of momentum. So I think there's a strong likelihood that eventually we'll come back to retest it. And equally so, we're coming from all-time lows as well. So that's another reason why we can see another pullback for Aussie Swiss. You know, naturally, all the sellers who gave us that strong push, I think naturally they're exiting their positions. And naturally, that should give us a bit of a lift for Aussie CHF. So I like the buys from that perspective. It is a bit counter trend. You know, the trend for Aussie CHF is down. So we have to be a bit cautious, be a bit patient. The market could always go a little bit lower. But what I really like about Aussie CHF is how corrective we've been on the way down. This is some very, very corrective price action. Not really showing healthy signs of trend continuation. When things are corrected like this, most of the time, we do tend to break to the upside. So that's why I quite like the buys, because of what we've done in the higher time frames and in fact of how corrective we are and how we're operating. At the moment, we're still kind of bearish in this channel here. We could, of course, still keep falling. I'll keep an eye out for the break of this channel. Maybe if I see a strong one, I might look to enter there. Again, a bit more of an aggressive trade, but I like the idea. If you're looking for something a bit more conservative, you could wait for price to give you that initial push, then look for some pullbacks after that, or some pullbacks after that even. You know, wait for some bullish structure to present before looking to buy. And then, yeah, we could be on our way back to highs. So this would be the more conservative trade to take. Buying off the lows here, bit more aggressive, but of course you may be better positioned in terms of risk to reward or in terms of just location in general. But there's no right and wrong. There's just how you want to approach it. But yeah, I do agree with Aussie CHF. Very similar bias. I think Aussie can gain strength and we're likely to push higher. But no entry just yet. OGPAC, okay. Dollar CAD we'll take a look at as well. Yeah, we had that reaction with the Aussie pairs. A lot of Aussie strength coming to the market. Yeah, which does fit the long bias too. So that's another kind of different confluence to add to the situation as well. Technically, I think we look good to see it up move, and looks like fundamentally we could see that that situation aid a move to the upside as well. But yeah, I'm pretty bullish on Aussie. I like the idea of upside. I'm looking at Euro Aussie shorts as well, but I'll pick between the two. Aussie CHF, yeah, I quite like it. Risk reward looks good as well. So just waiting for a good entry. and hopefully can find some opportunities there. We'll take a look at dollar CAD and Aussie dollar. So dollar Canadian. Yeah, I've been pretty bullish on this one. Reason being, we've come into a very, very interesting area. You can see if you look to our left on the daily chart here, nice brief consolidation, price ripped to the upside with a lot of momentum there. And as you can see, we pull back to retest the same area again. So it's a very healthy place for a buy. A lot of demand, a lot of buying pressure. We tapped into that again. We could see a similar reaction. Maybe not as big, but maybe takes us back into resistance around there. I think that's a reasonable bet if we are going to respect that area. So from a daily perspective, we're in a healthy place for a buy. And then drop into the 4-hour chart, you can see we formed some type of double bottom here. Strong reaction from this low, nice push to the upside, and a very corrective move back down. More or less respect to the lows here. And then as the week opened up, we saw a very strong rally breaking outside this channel. Now I'm looking for a correction of that to continue higher back into resistance. As I drop to the hour, you can see in a little bit more detail, there's your corrective move, there's your strong break to the upside. Now I'm looking at this as a correction, a pullback for us to continue higher. There's some nice levels just below us, the retest of the high here. There's a brief range here as well, which is kind of where we started the momentum for the week from. I think either of those levels could look good for a buy. And yeah, I would expect USD CAD to continue high and a push back to resistance at 1.378. I'm expecting more USD strength to come back into the market. And I think we're well positioned with that with dollar CAD as well. So dollar CAD, I really like the buys. We're positioned well for that. Momentum looks good. Strong break of that counter trend line of that channel. Strong rejection of support. We're in that higher time frame daily demand zone. And we're starting to see momentum as well. So I think there's a good chance we can push back to 1.378. So dollar CAD, I'm pretty bullish on. And Aussie dollar, I'm pretty bearish on. I was actually looking to short this one last week or the past couple of weeks now, actually. I was simply just waiting for price to test the upper end of that channel around the 0.66 area. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. We just missed the upper end of the channel there, consolidated just below it before a strong drop. At the start of the week, of course, we had the Aussie news, which caused the big push up. But Aussie dollar, I'm pretty bearish on. I think it's not so much Aussie I'm looking for weakness for. It's more so USD I'm looking for strength for. And if USD is strong, most of the time Aussie dollar does head lower. So I'm looking at us breaking lower for Aussie dollar. I'm looking at us to break lower. But in terms of an entry, which of course is the most important thing, how we're going to enter the market, well, ideally, I would want to be up at the highs here where I can find a nice stop loss above all the noise, not inside the channel preferably. Still take advantage of a swing back to the low end of the channel, shorting up here into the low. Then maybe if I'm lucky, I capitalize on a breakout to the downside as well and leave some positions to run. So the way I see Aussie dollar is that we're just operating in this channel, back and forth, back and forth. Can we get back to the higher end of the channel, reject the high, short there, and then we can trade it back into the low, and hopefully we can look for a breakout and a big continuation. But that's really where my interest lies for now. But yeah, I'm not too sure if we will. Rex, what is up? Hope you're well. No problem. Saw some positions of re-enter again on the US major pairs. Let it run again. Nice. Still kept the highest point position open though. Okay. Yeah, I think that's the best way to go with it because yeah, I figured. Yeah, I think that's the best way to go for it because you're well positioned. You know, every trade is unique, and sometimes you're very well positioned for a move, and you probably want to take advantage of that. Other times, maybe not so well positioned, so take your profits and run sort of situation is probably the best way to go with it. But if you at a situation where you've taken a trade, you're right at the high, or at least potentially at the high. Of course, you're not to know that until everything is said and done. But when you're positioned at the high, or anticipating to be at the high, you can hold that position for quite a while. The beauty of kind of catching reversals is that if it is a reversal, well, that trend could last a couple of weeks in your favor, and you don't have to do any hard work. You take your partials, take your profit where you need to, but leave positions to run. Let those positions do the heavy lifting, and because you're well positioned, you can do that. If you're entering a little bit later on some pullbacks, then you're probably not so well positioned to look for a big move, because price can always come back and knock you out the position. But yeah, I really like the entries. Very, very nice entries, high up, away from the noise. Of course, price can come back against you. Of course, the Aussie was a bit awkward there, pushing back up, but New Zealand still looks very, very good. Pound looks good. Euro looks good as well. So yeah, I was still fancying more downside. So yeah, keeping the highest position made sense there. Yeah, that makes sense. Paid yourself, because of course nothing's guaranteed. This might not be the high. Maybe price wants to push up again. So in that case, you might get trailed out, but you secured profits, you paid yourself. Now it's up to price whether it wants to continue. If it does, you're well positioned for it. If it doesn't, you still walked away with some decent profits there. So yeah, definitely kudos to you on those positions. But yeah, the way I see it, every trade's kind of unique in terms of the management, because some trades you want to manage it in a certain way, whereas other trades, it might not make sense to manage it the same way. No problem. Happy to help. But yeah, some trades you want to manage it differently. So I think as a beginner, having a kind of a management plan that fits all is a good move, because it practices consistency and practice kind of managing under pressure when you got a live position open, floating profit, exiting trades, not being too emotional. Having kind of a management plan that kind of fits every trade is a good idea, because it keeps you consistent. But then as you start to progress and as you start to find consistency in your discipline, start to kind of analyze your trades and see, okay, did it make sense to do this here? Well, not for that position, but it did make sense for this position. Then you can kind of categorize a little bit with different positions based on where you're positioned, and of course use your kind of intuition, not intuition, but your kind of judgment as well, because your markets change, things change as well, and sometimes you have to use your judgment and your experience to say that, okay, I'm not going to do it for this position because of X, Y, Z, and then you adapt like that as well. But as a beginner, yeah, definitely having one management plan to fit all trades is a good idea. But then, of course, as you progress, you can adapt. OGPAC. Which market are you talking about? Are you talking about dollar CAD? Thomas, Euro Yen. Okay, we'll take a look at that as well. Yeah, OGPAC. I'm not too sure which market you're talking about there. Let me know. But yeah, in terms of Euro Yen, very bullish. I like this market quite a lot. I think pullbacks are looking very, very good, but it's just been so bullish. So I've been waiting a while now. But the market's just flying like there's no tomorrow. We've broken through the highs here, so it looks like prices are likely to push back to 175. So I'll be very, very bullish in Euro Yen. We've broken completely through resistance there. This is the next big target. So the plan is, can we find the pullback to find the next higher low and keep buying this back to 175? I like the idea of a retest of this high. Will we get a pullback that big? I have no idea. That's kind of where I want to get myself positioned. To be honest, there's a range here which maybe looks a little bit more realistic for a buy. So if you can get a pullback into this area, that might be the next best area. Especially if you're looking for opportunities on like an hourly chart, that could be like a smart place for a buy. Let's see how we get there and how we react. There is, of course, that bigger pullback opportunity, which we just mentioned. But yeah, the market is so bullish. We've broken through major resistance. The way I see it, there's a very high chance we're going to get back to 175 now. So just waiting for a pullback, waiting for a bit of a breather. And then hopefully you can find some buys on a pullback there. And just follow momentum, really. I kind of like the situation here with Euro Yen, because there is no kind of big level in front of us until that next big level there. So what I would expect is a pretty clear and and clean-ish trend on the way up here. There shouldn't be too much drama. Maybe we do consolidate at some point, but I should expect a relatively clean move on the way back up to resistance because there's not a lot of obstacles on our way here. So yeah, just looking for price to have a breather. Of course, at the moment, we're very bullish right now, so I wouldn't do anything. Way too bullish to be buying. I wouldn't try and short it. I can see some people looking to try and short this because it's quite overbought. You know, we're quite stretched. I'm expecting a pullback. You know, why not sell it? I would refrain from that because we could always go a little bit higher. I'd wait for some pullbacks and just focus with the buys because that's where the likely move is going to happen. And that's where the likely bigger move is going to happen as well. So just stay patient with the buys and focus there. No problem, Thomas. Happy to help, my man. Happy to help. But yeah, Euro Yen to me looks like a really nice opportunity. It's actually probably my favorite yen pair at the moment in terms of the opportunity. Very kind of clear cut and easy to digest. You know, when I look at this pair, I can see a clear kind of understanding of where I expect the market to go. I could be wrong. Nothing's guaranteed. But at least I've got confidence and clarity of what I'm seeing with the market here and what I'm seeing with the price action. Looking at gold, I do have clarity and confidence on the higher time frames like daily and above, because after all, gold is still very much in a clear-cut uptrend. But if I zoom in and drop to the 4-hour chart, you know, what is this? This is absolute nonsense. The price is just moving sideways here. So when conditions are a bit like this is when it's time to back away and let the market do its thing. You know, conditions are not forever. Just like Euro Yen's looking really nice now, maybe in a few weeks, a few months' time, it's not going to be looking so nice anymore. And same thing with gold right now. Right now, it's looking a little bit choppy in the lower time frames. But I would imagine in a few weeks' time, we're looking a lot better. Whether it's trending down, trending up, we'll have to wait and see. But at the moment, I would just stay away. Not liking the price action at all with gold at the moment. But as for myself, Euro Yen is on the watch list, but it's probably going to be at least a few days before I do get an opportunity. Maybe towards the end of the week or maybe early next week. So I'm not going to be too concerned about the price action with Euro Yen just yet, but definitely going to keep a close eye. In terms of opportunities for right now, Euro Aussie is definitely something I'm going to look at. I'm looking for some selling opportunities here, but I do kind of want to see price break strongly below this trend line to initiate an entry. Likewise with Aussie CHF, I'm not going to try and take them both. As I mentioned, they're very similar trades, both relying on strength from the Aussie. So they probably both will fail or both work, so there's no need to kind of double up. But again, similar idea here as well, looking for a strong break. Perhaps if I can get a strong entry, like a strong breakout like that, I'll use that for my entry as well. But I do think Aussie CHF's got a lot of upside and potentially there could be some entries later today. So these two I'll keep a close eye on. Euro pound looks good, but I think we're probably too far away for an entry, at least for today. We're looking pretty bullish now. I like the zone just underneath us. So I'm actually looking for a bit more retracement on Euro pound before I buy it. Will we get there? I don't know, maybe prices are already good and it's going to continue to the upside now. That could be the case. But if we do retrace, that probably will take at least a couple of days. So again, not too concerned with Euro pound at the moment, but it's a buy I'll keep a close eye on. I also like pound NZD as well. I'll keep a close eye at that resistance level. Will price get there? I don't know, but I like the look of it. Very strong resistance. I think that's the place to short from. Stops above the high and could maybe capitalize on a really big sell-off. So if price can get there again, I'll be eager to short. And I see price going for a pretty big sell-off. Euro NZD, I'm going to keep a close eye on. Similar to Euro Aussie, I do think this is likely to sell off, but we're still looking very bullish. We just broke through the highs there. And we're not really seeing much selling pressure after that. So if anything, this is actually acting as support and price could very much respect this and continue higher. So that if that's the case, of course, I do not want to be shorting. USD pairs I'm not really too concerned with at the moment. I was looking to short Aussie dollar, but it's not gone to plan in terms of testing my area. Just missed it, unfortunately, last week. So yeah, kind of on the sidelines with that. As for Euro USD and Pound USD, I think there's some nice short-term buys. I'm not so concerned with that. Off these areas, I think there's some setups which could form late in the week. Pound USD as well, might be a nice buy off that area there. Looks like we're on our way there now. And dollar CHF too. think that could be a nice sell opportunity off that as well. So all kind of lining up very well, trendline confluences, all pretty much giving similar opportunities. So again, the idea is pick the better one, which one gives you the better confirmation in terms of entry, maybe risk reward, and then see out that trade. You don't want to be trading all three, because you're 3xing your risk and you're going to be all over the place, maybe mentally as well, because you're managing more risk, managing more trades, more room for error. Whereas if you just focus on one, see that trade out, and move on to the next, much kind of smarter and more sensible in terms of managing as well. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at the moment. I will be live again tomorrow, guys. Same time as always, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So if you're free, make sure you pop in, come say hi, come and chat with us. But I am live every weekday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So make sure you tune in. If you have enjoyed today's stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Make sure you do check out the Zentrix Telegram. I did drop it in the chat, but I will do it again before I do leave. So check it out if you haven't joined yet. And of course, hit the bell on the channel as well so you don't miss out any streams or uploads in the future. But guys, really appreciate it. Have a good one. Hopefully we'll catch you all tomorrow. Take care, and I'll see you all in the next one.
Zentrix AI. The advanced AI-powered trading platform for every trader. Everything you need for trading success. Research, strategy, automation, trade signals, all in one platform. Write strategies in plain language. We build the bots. Forex, crypto, stocks, futures. Every market. Let AI do the heavy lifting. Zentrix AI. The future of trading is here. Are you ready?